Welcome back to our home lab setup series. Today we are going to join a computer to the domain we created. But first we need to set up our DNS and reverse DNS information. So I'm going to go ahead and log on. And as you see now, we have the name of our domain that we created, RickLab. The administrative password should be the same password that you had been using all along. Alright. Now the first thing we're going to want to do is set up our DNS and reverse DNS information. We will need DNS for hostname resolution. On our screens, our added clients will have a name and the server will regard that name to its proper ID. So I've already set that up, but I'm going to still walk you through that process. The first time I recorded this, it went horribly bad, but nonetheless, I can still walk you through it in a cohesive manner this way. So the first thing we're going to do is pull up our server manager and go to local server and go to tools and DNS. As I said before, we want to set up a reverse DNS first, so we're going to click on reverse lookup zones. Ordinarily this would be empty, and you would go to actions and set a new zone. Next, this is going to be a primary zone. Excuse the sniffle. We want it running on our domain. It'll be an IPv4 reverse lookup zone. And here we're going to enter the first 3 octets of our network ID. So that, if you remember, is 192.168.100. And then we'll next do that. And we're only going to allow secure connections, and we're going to next on through and finish. And once we are done with that, we're going to go back to forward lookup zones. We're going to click on, wait a minute. Yes, I was right the first time. Our client, our domain. And remember, we named it server domain controller. We're going to click on that, and we're going to check this box, update associated pointer record. And the pointer record in DNS, a pointer record is used in reverse DNS lookup. So the forward DNS maps domain names to IP addresses. Reverse DNS maps IP addresses to domain names. That pointer record contains the host names associated with the specific IP addresses. So once we're done with this, we would refresh. There's no ordinarily, once you change something, there is a refresh icon, and it would verify that we did add these features. Let's go back to our local server and then click on our Ethernet options. And we're going to right click on Ethernet, go down to Properties, IPv4 Properties, and down here this will be populated with the reverse lookup address, which is 127.0.0.1. We're going to change that back to our static IP so that it's pointing at ourselves, and OK. And we have successfully configured our DNS and reverse DNS to add clients. Let's go to Tools and go to Active Directory Users and Computers. And minimize this so that can pop up. Now normally what you would want to do on your server is to build what's called an organizational unit, or an OU. These OUs are used as, just as they state, as an organizational unit. And you can add subunits to that, and each of those can have different levels of authority on the network. So to create one of those, we're going to go and select our server, go to Actions and New, and we're going to create an organizational unit. Then we're going to name that unit. It can be anything. I'm going to call it, let's see, we already have Office, so let's add Management. Alright, so we have our Office here, completely separate from Management. And once we have Management clicked, we should be able to right click, yes, within Management, and do the same thing. Create another organizational unit. So we could have supervisors if we wanted. So now we have a sublet. And under managers, we could have, say, a user that is the administrative, manager of the network, and he has full administrative controls, but his supervisors have limited amounts of controls by comparison. So we're going to go under supervisors, we're going to add a user. And since we are going with a little bit of a Rick and Morty theme, we're going to call this guy Jerry Smith. His logon is going to be easy. It's going to be Jerry Smith at ricklab.local. And we can put in a lot of personal information for him. I'm going to uncheck this user must change password on the next logon, and I'll explain that further as we log a computer on to Jerry Smith. But his password needs to have at least a number, a capital letter, and a character, like a money sign, hashtag, exclamation point. So we're going to give him the default IT starter password of capital PASSWORD 1 exclamation point. Next and finish. Alright, we have created our user Jerry Smith. It's Jerry Smith at ricklab.local. And now we are going to use another one of our VMs to log into this account.